compressor. It is not pumping any pressure and holding it in the tank. I sprayed it for leaks. There is no leaks. I believe it either needs some rings, gaskets, valves, I don't know, but I'm going to have to tear it apart, find out what's going on with it. But I wanted you to hear it first of all because this thing is so noisy, it's unbelievable. And I'm hoping that when the repair is finished, if I'm able to do it of course, that I can get rid of some of this noise. These oilless compressors are noisy as a rule anyway, but this one seems to be abnormally noisy. Anyway, let me go plug this in and show you, or let you listen to it. I guess I should have given you a warning on that one. Okay, the plastic cover comes off fairly easily. All one needs to do is push in a little bit on clips here and each one around the sides. And then it pops loose. Take it off, bring it forward like that. There's the cover. Here's the plate. Okay, first of all, this is supposed to be solid. This is broken right here. The belt's still on. That's a good sign that, well, it would have been easier if it had been a broken belt, obviously. But anyway, that's still going. I mean, still in its track. That's in it. Everything turns freely. I don't know if it's supposed to or not. The gaskets are right here. Looks like 4 bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4. By the way, this did not get hot at all when it was running, so this should be really, really warm. You don't want to even touch this when it's running, or of course you should have the cover on anyway. Okay, I've never worked on one of these before, so this is new to me, but obviously, if I take this line loose here, and it looks like somebody has put some gasket material in it, maybe to seal it a little tighter, looks like, but I want to take this line loose and see if I have any air pressure coming from the compressor head here for piston. Well, if it was me, I think I would have. This could be the problem here, I don't know. But these probably, this looks to me like it should have had not a flare, but a ferrule on this shaft, and that would tighten up against these threads on both of these, actually. It looks like that's what should have happened. But it's been sealed inside with some silicone, and looks to be, it felt pretty solid. If it was leaking, it would have been leaking a little bit, probably whistling, you know, you would have heard something. So I'm going to go plug this in again, put my finger in here very carefully and see if there's anything coming out. Okay, it's running, but it's not as loud, obviously, and it does seem to be putting out some pressure, so I might have other problems. I'm going to show you. 7/16 in as far as tightness goes. Like nothing there. I was expecting something with some torque on them, but aluminum head and all, so I don't know. Anyway. There's the one. Always got to be one. If I just move it a little bit, it'll pull right out. I don't think there's any reason. Oh, come back here. I see our problem. Okay, these parts here, this is the valve flapper evidently. I guess now. I'm not sure. But, okay, we'll take this off. And these are probably the valves. Right here, these are probably the valves. These are probably the valves. Intake and exhaust. Okay. But I see what the trouble is. And I will show you. I'm going to zoom in on this piston head and show you what is broken off between here and here. It looks like a copper or brass type of a ring, and it is sort of, yeah, this is kind of scarred up in here too now, so now I'm going to have to hone that out. Okay, that's pretty good zoom, I would say. Taking out the old pin, right through here is missing a part of the ring. The piston shaft and everything feels good and solid. There's no play or anything right in there. And then, I don't know if you can see it, but this is all scarred up in here. And so, yeah, it was putting out a little air, but it wasn't compressing it. It couldn't. It was leaking right back out, back through here. And making a lot of noise to boot. Okay, so that is it. I need to see, there is a fitting or a screw here. Looks like a star. It takes a star bit and it removes this piston piece, and you can order a new one, I'm almost sure. Go to their website and look it up, and might pay to order a new gasket set while I'm doing this. Okay, take this off first, see what it looks like, and put you on pause. Found the right star bit, and now this one is a little tighter. If I'd had to put any more pressure on it, I would have probably going to put a crescent wrench over this and go back, hold it this way to, there we go, see this, and then take it loose. But it was right at the verge of me doing that, but it broke loose, so there you go. This is really cool. Anyway, Okay, here we go. You're following all this. Set that right in there. You know, I might be able to finish this up with some emery cloth. It's aluminum, and I really don't want to take too much off of it. Okay, there is the screw. And now we don't want to lose this stuff, so we'll put it right there. Here is, wow, the piston ring. Looky there. I just love it. Anyway, it goes on this way. Remember that, not backwards. Okay. There's a piston ring. How about that? Wow. Gosh, I hope they sell these parts. If they don't, I don't want to have to try and build something like that. I am not a machinist. Machinists could do that, but I am not one. Okay, on to pause we go. We're waiting for parts. And in no time at all, we will be back and put this together if the parts are available. The new parts have arrived. They all seem to be complete. The piston assembly is all assembled. I thought I was going to have to replace parts, which I did not. Comes with a new cylinder sleeve, or cylinder I guess you'd say. It's all cast aluminum. It's not like a normal sleeve, so I won't have to hone the old one out. But I think I just got to go ahead and remove the old piston and start putting things back together now. And we'll see how that goes. Okay, there's a little keeper that slides over the end of this shaft on the fan, and it keeps the fan tight. Anyway, the fan supposedly just slides off. And it's coming. It's just a little stubborn. Been on there a long time, and it's made out of plastic. It's still supple though, so I'm fortunate there. You break one of these and you'll be back to ordering parts. And by the way, these parts cost $75. They are not cheap, so you want to take your time. Okay, having generally removed the fan, take a drill bit and I'll put it right in a little hole right there. And I have an inch-pound torque wrench here, but I have it cranked up all the way to 250. This thing is really tight. I'll have to get in my way of myself. Anyway, I'll probably use a regular torque wrench, because this thing is like really in there. I had broken it loose a little bit beforehand, but I will tell you it clicked at 250 inch-pounds, so it was more than that. I'm going to fumble over this, looks like. Yeah, almost. Little normal threads, I guess you say right hand. And the replacement screw that holds this piston on has Loctite already on it, which is probably why this is so difficult to remove right now. Okay, there we go. You can see the well, I guess Loctite on there. This piston and the bearing, I mean, it just feels really good. I don't think the new one sounds as good. I was debating on whether or not to use the, say the bearing looks good, to use the, just take the piston part off the other one and put it on here, the ring part, I mean. But I decided to go the whole route because I couldn't find my Loctite, and I didn't want to try and put the new one in a vise and take this loose. I just figured I'd go this route and I'd feel good about replacing the whole thing better than parts of it. And that's where I am to now, so I'm going to go get the new one and put it on here. First I'm going to have to put the piston into the cylinder, and we'll do that in just a second. Okay, new piston, new screw with Loctite, or bolt, excuse me, and I don't think it matters much which way you put this in, as long as you push it in like this. Ouch. And it does go pretty stiff. Okay, now it might matter which way we put this thing on, mounted in the housing over here. So I'm going to go take a look at that again and see which way we have to do that. We'll get started in a minute. Okay, I couldn't remember this cylinder, this rounded part faced out this way or in, but it faces out. So I had to check that. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and I keep calling it a screw, I mean a bolt. And it pulls up and it recesses right in there and positions the piston on this flywheel perfectly. Got to make sure this does not come off. It would be very difficult to put this on after you had your piston mounted, because the way the ring is facing, it almost has to come on, has to be pushed in this way. You do this job and you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay. Had to get the bigger wrench. Well, I believe that's pretty much as tight as it was when I started. Now, while we're still working down here, I almost think it's time to go ahead and put the little plastic fan back on. Position it about where it was. Shaft was flush with the plastic of the fan. This little keeper is going to be fun because it is Well, it is too. It's tiny. You know what? All you got to do is just lose it. You'll be looking all over for one of these. Actually, you probably won't, because you know you don't have one at all anyway. The problem is I don't have the, you know, I do have, hang on. Well, if you have a pair of these, they might work. Put that in there like that, and spread it open. And then guess what? It is on the front of the shaft. Barely. And you know, it is almost right where it was before. Push it in there, it falls right into its little spot where it was. And you know what? That's got that. I say that now. Alright, now I've got to assemble the piston pieces in their proper order, or this will not work at all. So, okay, let's see what we have here. Like I said, there's the new ones. Now we're here in the shadows. No, we don't need that. 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 Hopefully not again. And that's the old rings. Okay, ring. But here's what we do need to take a look at. There's a gasket and a metal plate. And then this metal plate. And you know what? They give you the metal plate. Wow. No wonder the thing cost $75. Jeez Louise. According to this, there's a whole tiny hole here, tiny hole here. I did not have this right. Okay. Alright, there we go. Hole, hole. And this one has one right there. Well, I wonder why. I'm sure all my questions will be answered soon. Alright. Gasket, where are you? Don't tell me I'm looking at different gaskets now. It sure seems to be that way. Okay. Let me check this part out. We have this. Yes, I have to go get a knife. And here we go. This is the way I determined that this thing should come off. I mean, it should work. Should go back together. Okay, after a little trial and error, I had to go get the exploded diagram, which I downloaded off the Campbell Hausfeld website, and put it together according to it. I was close, but it wouldn't have worked. So anyway, it should work now that I got it properly put together. So what I have to do now is take this, the head part, and with the head bolts holding it together, and go over there and put it back on the air compressor. This whole assembly is very, very loose. You have to be careful. Let it all fly apart like it did when I was taking it apart. This came off my hands, as you saw. Getting the bolts holes lined up are a lot of fun, looks like now. But the piston is putting a little tension on everything, so I know if you can get a few of them started, the others will line up as well. And I don't remember any great torque being on these at all. They came off really loose, which I don't know if was good or not, but I'm going to put them on just a little tighter, keeping in mind that these are all aluminum parts, and aluminum will crack if you put too much pressure on it, tightening things. That goes for oil pan drain plugs as well, as some of you may have already found out. That is no fun. Okay, that's a funky little air intake. I'm going to have to put some element or something in that, because that's just going to suck dirt in. That's probably why the thing failed like it did. Parts diagram does not show anything more than that. I can't believe it. Okay, let me get these tightened down and see where we are from there. Probably a little late to mention this, but this head had some of the gasket, the old gasket stuck to it, and I removed it with a knife and a little fine sandpaper, and then with another small air compressor I blew it out real good. So make sure you do that. I'm going a crossways pattern here with a small wrench. Just getting kind of a feel for it. Okay, that seems to be pretty good. They may loosen up later. I'll have to come back and check them after I run it a bit. This is a motor strap right here, and it is loose, or broken actually, excuse me. It's broken on this back side. This is the way it's supposed to sit. I'm going to see if I can get myself some metal plumber's tape and redo this somehow so I can get this thing solid. And everything is very smooth. No metal rubbing, no nothing. It's just real nice. Well, it isn't very pretty, but the metal plumber's tape, this stuff right here, did work. It's holding it really tight, but I'm sure with the vibration, this tape being as thin as it is will eventually break. See if I can't weld this piece. It is pot metal. It isn't as thin as I thought it would be, but I might be able to run a bead across it and get it to hold. I don't know, we'll see. Until, because this stuff is so thin, it will eventually break. But I'll get to that later. I did find a couple O-rings to go around this tube. Normally it would have compression fittings, but I couldn't find anything to fit this size. I didn't have any here. And someone had either filled it with silicone or it was factory done that way. So in the bottoms of these nuts there seemed to be silicone, so it's a good chance the factory did it and left it that way. But anyway, I think my my O-rings will probably fit the bill here and work for quite a while. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put this back, and I guess we'll plug it in and see if it builds up any pressure. Okay, everything seems to be good. I haven't tried the switch yet. I don't know if it works or not, but I've just been plugging it and unplugging it. So here we go, first test. It is a lot Okay, while it was pumping up, I could feel air. Just want to see if this is getting warm, and it is hot, like it's supposed to be. And I could feel air coming out right here, and the copper tubing, I can't hardly believe this, but it is split right here. So I got a split down the copper tubing, and that's the reason it's taking so long to get any air pressure. So I'm going to have to fashion a piece of copper tubing if I can find something that size, because like I said, I couldn't find any ferrules, so this might be interesting. And see, okay, I replaced the copper tubing. My copper tubing bending skills are really, really bad, even though using a bender, so I'm going to have to redo that. But it doesn't leak, and for the moment that'll have to suffice. So let me show you this. Okay, this is a little over 80 psi, and I pumped it up yesterday about 24 hours ago to 100. So this represents sitting for 24 hours. That's not too bad. It's got a tiny leak right in here or underneath here when I adjusted the tool pressure gauge. And other than that, this will work and give me a lot of service just the way it is, and then I'll get back to it and I will replace the motor mount, see if I can solder it, and then replace the tube going to the compressor part and head part. So I'm going to button it back up and say this repair is done for now. Alrighty then. See you next time.